Thursday night arrived. Del had agreed to take Raquel and Damien out to see a film, giving Rodney and Cassandra the flat to themselves. Or so Rodney thought. "I'm taking them to see that new cartoon," Del said, adjusting his coat, "the one about the singing fish. We'll be back late. Enjoy your auto-suggestion." Rodney waited until the door closed. He went to his bedroom and emerged 10 minutes later wearing a leather skirt, a plastic chest plate, and sandals. He looked like he had been rejected from a high school production of Spartacus. Cassandra emerged from the bathroom. She was wearing a police uniform, complete with a hat and a plastic truncheon. "Rodney," she gasped, "I thought we said no dressing up." "I couldn't help it. Cass, the book said to fully immerse yourself. I'm Russell Crowe in Gladiator. And well, I'm a detective from the Bill." Cassandra sighed. "You look different." "Strength and honor, Cassandra," Rodney said, striking a pose that nearly caused his chest plate to pop off. "Now, let us unload our baggage." They sat on the sofa, trying to be reborn, but the atmosphere was somewhat dampened by the smell of those lingering cigar smoke and the faint sound of the neighbors' heavy metal music. So, Rodney began, trying to deepen his voice. "On my signal, unleash the feelings." "Rodney, I don't feel like a detective. I feel like an idiot." "That's just the memory baggage talking. Rejected. You are an officer of the law. I am a hero of Rome." Suddenly, the front door burst open. "We're back," Del Boy shouted, stumbling in with Raquel and Damien. The cinema was full. Apparently, every kid in Peckham wants to see a singing fish. He stopped dead. He looked at Rodney. He looked at Cassandra. "Oh, my God," Del whispered, his eyes widening. "Rodney, what have you done to her? Is she arresting you?" "It's therapy, Del," Rodney hissed, trying to hide behind a cushion. "Go away." "Therapy? You look like you're about to fight a lion in a police station." Del started to laugh. A deep, wheezing sound. "Raquel, come and see this. Russell Crowe and the Bill are having a meeting in our front room." The fantasy was officially over. Reality hadn't just returned, it had kicked the door down and started laughing at them. Chapter 11, The Sultan's Shadow. A few days later, the executive stress was reaching a fever pitch. The organizers weren't selling as well as Rodney hoped, mostly because people in Peckham preferred to write their numbers on the back of cigarette packets. Rodney was sitting at the kitchen table, Mozart playing softly in the background, when the phone rang. Trotter's Independent Traders, Managing Director Rodney Trotter speaking, he said, trying to sound bored and important. "Good evening," a voice said, with a thick, exotic accent. "I am wishing to speak with Managing Director." Rodney's eyes narrowed. "This is he. Who is calling?" "My name is Asif Hazen. I am representative of Sultan of Brunei." Rodney rolled his eyes. He looked at Del Boy, who was pretending to read the paper but was clearly listening. "The Sultan of Brunei," Rodney repeated loudly. "Well, how can I be of assistance, sir?" "His Highness has seen your advertisement in the newspaper. He is very impressed with your party planning and consultancy." "Is he now?" Rodney smirked. "And what does His Highness want? Does he want me to fly out and organize a palace warming?" "Exactly. He wants you to fly to Brunei. All expenses paid. He has bought a crappy old three-wheeled van, and he wants to know where to start it on cold mornings." Rodney's smirk vanished. He slammed the phone down. "Shove it, Mickey," he yelled at the dead line. "Just shove it." "What happened?" Del asked, looking up. "Dave's just had a big row with the Sultan of Brunei. It was Mickey Pierce. Del, I could hear the jukebox. He thinks he's so clever, using an accent." But as Rodney sat back down, his Mozart symphony reached a crescendo. He looked at the advertisement he had placed. He had listed consultancy and party planning. It was a professional advert. He looked at the phone. For a fleeting second, he wondered, what if the Sultan of Brunei really did have an old van? What if he really did need a consultant from Peckham? "Del," Rodney whispered, "do you think—" "Don't worry, Rodney," Del said, patting him on the shoulder. "The world's full of surprises. Look at Nicky Pierce, he's only just learned to read." They sat in the quiet flat, to brothers bound by blood, bankruptcy, and a never-ending cycle of nearly and almost. They were back where they started, in Nelson Mandela House, with a mountain of debt and a box of plastic organizers. But as the neon sign of the Nags had flickered outside, Del Boy looked at his brother. "This time next year, Rodney," he said, the old spark returning to his eyes, "this time next year, we'll have sold all them organizers. We'll be back on top. Mange tout, Rodney. Mange tout." And in the heart of Peckham, that was enough. Chapter 12, The Ghost of Mickey Pierce. The weight of the charity call hung over the flat like a thick London fog that refused to lift. Del Boy tried to carry himself with his usual swagger, but every time he passed a television, he felt a phantom pain in his wallet. 50,000 pounds gone with a single, ego-driven outburst. "I could have bought a new van, Rodney," Del whispered, staring into his lukewarmty. "A yellow one, with leather seats, and a heater that actually works." "You gave it away, Del," Rodney said, not looking up from his latest business management book. "You wanted to look like a big man. Well, congratulations. You're the biggest man in the soup kitchen." Rodney was trying to embrace his role as managing director, but the reality of the market stall was far from the corporate boardrooms he envisioned. The electronic organizers were currently sitting in the hallway, taking up space and gathering dust. "We need a marketing strategy, Del," Rodney announced, standing up. "We can't just stand on a street corner